First of all, let me say Casa Cornelius, my fiancée Ana del Castillo, was a volunteer lawyer, and one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to support your organization because it's the real deal, and you take on the hardest cases. When you say immigration to me, the first thing I think about is my grandfather who immigrated here back in 1918 and how terrified he was. He used to tell me, keep an eye out for immigration. When I was little, we'd ride in the car. I didn't know what immigration was, but I was supposed to keep an eye out for him. My dad immigrated from Spain. You know, one of the things I want to do as mayor is be an advocate for all of the people that live in San Diego. And one of the things we have to realize is we already are interdependent and integrated. It's already happened. We just haven't acknowledged it. I want to build a cultural center at the border in which we have half of it in Mexico and half of it in the United States, and a forum in the middle where the peoples on both sides can come and develop an understanding, do mutual planning, have their respective city councils meet together. And the other thing I want to do is I want to build an art gallery, an extraordinary art gallery, in which it will house the greatest collection of Western Hemisphere art in the world. And the reason for that is the kind of big changes that we have to have. You said you don't want to talk about Charger football stadiums and convention centers. I agree. We need to exploit in a very positive way the interdependence and the richness of the culture. And we need to recognize there's 4 million people on both sides of the border, even probably more. It's a massive market. And as the mayor, I will be an advocate for all of the people of San Diego. And I will make the case that everyone has to understand who we are and how we are interdependent. And when you put down someone who's from Mexico, who's working hard and making possible for you to have children taken care of, lawns mowed, all the things that we know about, the whole, losing the Mexican for a day movie. All of that is important, and I think we can move ahead, and this is where someone like myself, who came from humble beginnings, who represented Cesar Chavez, who picked cantaloupes in Yuma, and then went to Harvard and to Berkeley, and my children, my daughter, went on to Princeton and Harvard Law School and Cambridge University. I think I can be that very person that we need to have as a Latino mayor of San Diego with the background and with the experience to do the job. Thank you for asking that question.
Questions. The dropout rate is high. It's gotten higher. English language learners, I was one myself. What you're doing at San Diego State with Compact for Success is a clear pathway forward. We've got to get UC perhaps to do a partnership like that with some of our schools, get them involved a little bit more. I saw some folks with Reality Changer shirts of those programs supporting them. There's a lot of the kids that you're talking about who are first generation, like I was, English language learners. Their parents are working people who don't know what college is. And we got to do the simple things. We got to do the career pathways that you talked about, which is part of my plan. Things like I've done on the council, where I've actually given money to schools so that they could have some of those programs to learn about art education, get exposure to new things. Let's look at what people have done as you go and you vote. Look at what people have done. Instead of raising tuition rates in Sacramento, that's what they do. They raise tuition rates. They try to dictate policy. Let's look at our local answers, look at our principals that are doing good work, use those as models to replicate. There's a lot of good information that's already here happening, good programs that are happening. Let's support those programs.
The answer to your question is yes and yes. The mayor does have a role. And yes, Latinos should become a large portion of helping to shape that policy. Firmly believe that. When we look at the opportunity, it's not just a region, it is a mega region. It is from all of northern Baja up to Orange County. And we have great leadership that's happening right now with our Regional Economic Development Corporation that recognizes that. I recognize that. I went down for an aerospace suppliers conference at the new convention center in Tijuana, right just north of Rosarito, about 2 months ago. Fantastic energy and enthusiasm that is happening down there in terms of wanting to have better participation, flow of goods, not only from goods, but knowledge base as well. And as mayor, I understand that. We have to foster that. We've just started to scratch the surface of that. And there will be tremendous opportunities if we say we believe in this, and we're going to show that and buttress that with not only our words, but our actions. And so I can't wait to get going on that and working with a lot of our partners here that are going to make it happen, because we have so much opportunities that are going to benefit our families on both sides of the border. One of the biggest things, and I'll conclude, try to keep it to a minute, that the next mayor is going to have to do is to continue to fight for federal funding for our side of the border to finish phases 2 and 3 of the border crossing. We have to get those border weights down in order to have the real commerce that we need.
It's really simple. If any segment of our population fails, we all fail. And if our children, or Latino children, are failing, that means we're failing. Same goes for any of our other ethnic minorities. If African Americans are failing in our schools, then we're failing as a society. If we don't have people gaining access to good paying jobs, we're going to have people living in poverty, the same way we do today, almost a third of the population. That means we're going to need more sources for affordable housing. So we've got to all grow together. This is really about all of us. It's not about just one of us. But we do need people who understand the different values and dynamics that happen in our community, and that English language learners are different than native English speakers. And so that's how we can make sure that our children are successful. That men and women who want to enter business from the Latino community have a different way. They come from a different culture, and we have to be really cognizant of that as we go and we try to grow business and understand what their needs are and how we help them be successful. So again, if one segment of the population is not successful and we don't care about them, then we're all going to be in trouble as a whole city.
First of all, thank you very much. It's, you know, I'm just thinking about in 1974 when I came back to San Diego and started practicing here in early 75 as an assistant U.S. attorney. We used to have the La Raza meetings at a bar around a very small table, and there'd be 4 or 5 of us. So it's so exhilarating and wonderful to see what kind of progress we've made. You know, we're getting close to making a decision now, and it's a serious decision. It's a decision that we didn't make with care the last time through. We didn't ask the hard questions. I have asked some hard questions tonight. I asked Nathan, for example, to release his transcripts. Some people here doesn't think that's important. I think it's very important. We don't want any surprises later on. If someone holds themselves out as an educator, then they need to release their transcripts to show us if they really have the academic background that they're representing to the public that they have. For the Latino community, I am so happy and proud that 2 of the candidates up here are Latinos. And I would hasten to add, you know, in the old days, we used to hear, oh, they're not qualified. You know, I have a degree from Harvard in public administration. I have a law degree from Berkeley. I've practiced for 40 years. I was the city attorney when we went from strong city council form of government to strong mayor form of government. And I have the background and the experience to do the job. And David has a tremendous background. And I'm just so proud that both of us are up here and being able to give you alternatives. And we have 2 other fabulous candidates with great backgrounds themselves. You're not going to have an outcome like we did last time. I don't believe that that's in the cards. I think that they're all quality candidates, that we will move ahead as a city. But what we need to do is to pick the person that has the best credentials, that has done the most work, that has contributed, whether it's me representing Cesar Chavez when he died, doing the voting rights cases that gave us district elections, representing—
That's time. Sorry, promised to have you out. Kevin Faulkner.
Mike was just getting rolling. We'd be here for an hour, so I'm sure most of you know. I'll try to keep within the my 2 minutes. First and foremost, thank you for allowing us to come tonight, and appreciate your courtesy. Now, I'm very optimistic about the future of this city, and I say that as somebody who's spent 7 years on trying to turn things around. We've made a lot of progress, but we're not done yet, and that's one of the biggest reasons that I'm running for mayor. If there's anything that the last year has taught us, it's that leadership matters. Principles matter. And I'm going to always be upfront and honest and let you know where I stand on those issues. Many times I hope you're going to agree with me. But I think you'll hopefully agree that I'm going to put San Diegans' interests first and do what I believe is in the best long-term interest in this city. And we've made a lot of tough choices, but there's a lot that we still have to do. And I know that for me to be successful as mayor, I have to keep doing what I've been doing, which is bring people together who have a good idea. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. It's what's best for the city. Proud of the work I've done with our former Mayor Sanders on pension reform. Proud of the work I did with my former council colleague Donna Fry on Mission Bay Park, ensuring that the money stays there for environmental improvements. That's the type of collaboration that works and makes the cities forward. I'm going to do that as mayor. We have a lot of work to do to get our city back on track. But as I will conclude as I started, I'm very optimistic that by working together, we are going to get back on track, and we are going to make this a great city that we can all be proud of. Thank you for your time.
Nathan Fletcher.
Well, thank you for having us. It's good to be back with you. It was just over a year and a half ago we were here, and like Mike, I was disappointed in the outcome last time in the election. But there's a new beginning for our city that can take place, and there's a reorientation on where we want to go in the city that we want to be, and that starts with making sure the basic things are taken care of. That starts with making sure that the investment in neighborhoods that you haven't seen for years actually happens. You know, we recently had Halloween, and there's communities where folks went out and there was not a single street light. There was no sidewalk. We've got to make sure that every neighborhood and every community has that. We've seen a tremendous inequity in response times in public safety. There was a lady in Nestor I just talked to, 62-year-old grandmother. She called 911 at 4:30 in the morning, someone trying to break into her house. There were no officers available. No one got there until after 7 a.m. We have to make sure our communities are safe. And when we've done those things, now we can talk about the opportunity to really talk about the future and where we want to go as a city. Embracing creativity and innovation and branding ourselves the world's most innovative city, but making sure we balance that out with the economic opportunities for the middle class and the working class with manufacturing and export. I led my whole life. I led in the Marine Corps. I made the life and death decision at a direct enemy fire. I led in the state assembly where we passed Chelsea's Law. We passed legislation to ensure better access to health care. We worked on legislation to reduce class sizes. Time and again, I demonstrated that ability to bring people together and get things done, and we are all in this together. And I'm proud to be the only candidate running that has support from business organizations like the California Small Business Association and Biocom, that has support from labor organizations, that has support from environmental organizations, community leaders, and elected officials, because that's what it's going to take, is a mayor who can bring us all together, who can lead, who can get things done, and push us through into a better future. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I'm excited about what I know we can do together with all of us working together. So thank you very, very much for having us. I appreciate it.
David Alvarez.
Thank you very much for being here. It's been a pleasure and honor to share the stage and to be able to talk about the things that are important to us. A lot of people, I think, have counted me out before in my life. And I think a lot of you in this room probably have felt like you've been counted out before as well. And I can tell you that I have never given up, because my parents taught me some really core values, and that I learned so much from, and I've never changed. And that's hard work. My mom and my dad, who did not have a real education. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, fast food worker. My dad was a janitor, retired after 26 years of cleaning toilets and taking out the trash. But I'm very proud of what they gave me and the legacy that they left me. And that's the ability to do good things for other people. They cared about other people. They cared about their family. I was the first one in my family to go to college. Odds against me. Odds against me when I ran for city council. A lot of people didn't think I could make it, and I did. And I think a lot of people, when I got into this race, didn't give me a chance. But it's been real people who understand that our city is too important, and that we need to elect a leader that actually understands all of our communities, that understands what it's like to struggle, that understands what it's like to be successful, that understands that every one of our communities needs to have access to parks, libraries that are open, making sure that we have police protection and fire protection. Those are all the things that are important to all of us in this whole entire city. Understand our economy and why our border is so important. And someone who's actually worked on all those issues, not that's going to sit here and tell you what they're going to do, but what they've already done. I'm really proud of my achievements as a council member, and I'm proud of what we'll be able to achieve as we work together when I'm your next mayor. And I'd appreciate your support. I thank you for your encouragement. Those have been supporting me, and I know we can go a long, long way, and we will. We need a mayor that finally is going to work for all of us, who understands all of us, and I'd love to be your mayor. Thank you so much.